Dear Christian, what do we really know about being crucified with Christ? What do we know about being so resolute to God that we would be willing to lay down and lose our life? I've heard so many foolish statements comparing insignificant situations to Christian suffering that it's embarrassing. When did it get watered down? When did the idea of suffering get so lost? When did we lose our focus or weightiness of taking up one's cross? As if missing our Monday morning cup of coffee from Starbucks somehow relates or make us more mindful of the misery and persecution that Jesus faced. But ridiculous statements like these are simple pictures and goes to show just how little our culture knows about Christ's crucifixion. What do we really know about the cup of suffering and distress that Christ accepted not as a regrettable necessity but at the Father's will and request? Or the violent denial of rejection of association, like when Peter repudiated Jesus under the pressure of condemnation. Being falsely accused, like when the Jewish leaders plotted and conspired against him and condemned him with the trumped-up charges of being a political leader of rebellion. Or the mockery of the Roman soldiers, the ridicule of the pseudo-enthronement, draped with a soldier's cape as a king's robe and a makeshift crown made of thorns and twigs. What do we really know about undeserved punishment, anguish and affliction? Being spit on and flogged while being blindfolded and beaten beyond the point of human recognition. We know nothing about remaining silent at the injustice of any individual. But with Christ, the crowds cheered to be crucified as a common criminal. Nailed to a tree with his hands and his feet and hung naked with stretched out arms for the public display of humiliation while soldiers cast lots and gambled for his garments. Being taunted by his accusers while they delight in their perceived superiority, mocking his deity as they literally add insult to injury. Consider that the crucifixion was the cruelest form of capital punishment ever poured out in the history of human law. Then consider how it pales in comparison to the spiritual suffering Jesus endured when he was separated from God. And receiving the full cup of wrath, he cries, "It is finished, totelestai." It was our sin that held him there until he died, our spears that pierced his side. The entire race is involved and implicated in the case of Christ crucified. So the next time you compare a cup of coffee to the cup of God's wrath, I would remind you of the passionate, bloody path that Christ endured on our behalf.